not artillery, not warships. The US-China War of 2025 is being decided by unimaginable megaprojects quietly rising from the ground. When the US raised tariffs to 125% on $450 billion worth of Chinese goods, Beijing didn't respond with words. They didn't negotiate. They didn't de-escalate. They vanished from the negotiating tables and reappeared on construction sites. This isn't just resistance, this is reconstruction. Step by step, China is working to remove the US from its supply chains, its tech networks, and its orbit of global influence by building a second parallel world that doesn't rely on America. Welcome to Top 10 Discoveries Official. I'm James. Let's dive into the silent counterattack, where China is changing the game entirely. 1. SMIC, the Silicon Stronghold amid a tech blockade. When the US launched a crackdown to halt China's access to advanced chips, officials believed Beijing would be technologically suffocated. But quietly, China unveiled a name, SMIC, the country's largest domestic chip manufacturer. It is now seen as a silicon fortress, standing firm under the barrage of sanctions. In 2023, SMIC stunned the world by successfully producing 7-nanometer chips. Despite being completely cut off from critical tools by the US and its allies, including advanced lithography systems from ASML Netherlands and equipment from American firms like Lam Research and Applied Materials. While Washington believed it had locked the door, SMIC found a way to scale the walls. Through homegrown technology, simplified processes, and a host of creative workarounds. In 2022 alone, SMIC spent over $6.3 billion on research and development, a 22% increase from the year before. Its Shanghai plant now produces around 600,000 wafers per month, or nearly 20,000 a day, a figure that shows it's far from overwhelmed by the pressure. Here's what matters. Manufacturing 7-nanometer chips typically requires extreme ultraviolet machines costing up to $150 million each. Machines China cannot buy. But by pushing older technologies to their absolute limits, SMIC is forcing the US chip industry to reconsider. Is China truly locked out, or quietly forging its own key? Behind SMIC lies more than just technological ambition. It carries a message. China doesn't have to play by America's rules. It's rewriting them. 2. BYD Gigapark, the EV fortress challenging Tesla. If SMIC is China's answer to the chip ban, then BYD is its direct response to America's green tech ambitions. While Tesla still dominates rankings in the US, on the other side of the globe, an EV giant is rising, its name, BYD. Its strategic weapon, Gigapark, the largest electric vehicle manufacturing complex on Earth. Located in Zhengzhou, BYD's Gigapark spans over 22 million square feet, roughly the size of 380 American football fields. This facility doesn't need American parts, American chips, or American software. It can assemble over 1.2 million EVs a year, which means one new car rolls off the line every 26 seconds. BYD even develops and manufactures its own control chips. No waiting on Qualcomm or NVIDIA. By the end of 2023, BYD had sold 3.02 million EVs, surpassing Tesla's 1.81 million, becoming the world's #1 EV maker by volume. Over 60% of BYD's vehicles are exported, many of them from Gigapark, where a car hits the road every 26 seconds. No fanfare like Elon Musk. No flashy American-style media stunts. BYD chooses to stay low profile while building fortresses, owning its supply chain, and methodically executing a systematic decoupling from the US-3. The domestic drone ecosystem, no exports, no need for America. If the ground is BYD's domain, then the skies are where China asserts its technological sovereignty. After DJI was placed on the US blacklist, China didn't respond with outrage or pleas for compromise. Instead, it took a familiar path, quietly building its own ecosystem, independent of the US and independent of the world. DJI, still the undisputed king of the civilian drone market with over 70% global share as of 2023, has fully localized its supply chain. from flight control chips and imaging sensors to navigation software and lithium batteries. No more reliance on Qualcomm, Sony, or any American suppliers. But more telling is what lies behind DJI, a rising ecosystem of domestic drone companies backed by the Chinese government, built to meet the needs of national defense, security, logistics, and surveillance, entirely within China. No exports, no need for Western markets. DJI is just the facade. The real ecosystem is something the US can't see, can't interfere with, and can no longer sanction. 4. Beijing's AI city, an autonomous megacity. Without Google or Microsoft, with the skies now dominated by American-free drones, China is reprogramming the ground with AI. After securing aerial dominance through a drone fleet independent of US components, China has brought the game down to street level, where it's building a cutting-edge AI-powered megacity, free of Google, untouched by Microsoft, and completely outside the Western orbit. In Western Beijing, an area spanning over 30 square miles is being transformed into an AI-run metropolis, powered entirely by domestic technology. No Google Maps, no Microsoft Azure, no data stored in the US. Everything, from traffic systems and population management to construction permits, is operated by Chinese AI. They're using their own mapping platforms tied to the Beidou navigation system, not GPS. Data is processed in a national cloud powered by Chinese chips, Chinese servers, Chinese algorithms. Each day, the system handles over 10 petabytes of data, in total isolation from American infrastructure. Startups like SenseTime, Baidu, and iFlyTech are building this city with a clear mission. No US APIs, no Silicon Valley code. And China isn't exporting this model. They're keeping it for themselves, a sovereign zone of technology where the US simply has no entry. 5. Hainan Smart Port, neutralizing FedEx and UPS with AI. While the US dominates global logistics through FedEx, UPS, and data systems hosted on servers in California, China chose not to confront head-on. Instead, it quietly built a parallel network, invisible, self-contained, and impervious to external manipulation. In Hainan, China has launched one of the most advanced megaports in the world, spanning an area equal to 3,000 NFL football fields. But this isn't just any port. It's a logistics fortress powered by domestic AI, where every container is processed in just 30 seconds, running 24/7 without pause. The entire operation, from autonomous cranes and driverless trucks to the command center, runs exclusively on Chinese AI. No Google Cloud, no US-made management software, no data touching foreign servers. This system was built with a single goal: to be immune to external disconnection. China isn't competing with FedEx. It's rendering the entire US-led logistics model obsolete. By removing every possible vulnerability, technology, data, infrastructure, software, China is eliminating the need to play by Silicon Valley's rules. This is no longer a defensive move. It's a strategic breakaway. A port that operates without America, can't be unplugged by America, and has the capacity to move Asia's entire trade volume without ever asking permission from Silicon Valley. And that's just what's happening on the ground. In the skies, China is preparing an even bolder move. 6. Tiangong Space Station, off-Earth territory, totally independent. When the US barred China from joining the International Space Station, it believed it had locked China out of space. But Beijing didn't wait for the door to open. It built its own. Tiangong is now a new piece of sovereign territory, orbiting Earth, beyond the reach of any Western alliance. The Tiangong Space Station operates with rotating 6-month crews, fully independent in both technology and logistics. No NASA tech, no reliance on US communications or navigation systems. In 2024 alone, China carried out 120 successful launches, sending satellites, cargo, and crew modules into orbit, all using homegrown rockets, navigation, and communication networks. No access requests, no permissions needed. China isn't entering someone else's space. It's creating its own orbital domain. and locking the hatch from the inside. 7. Experimental 6G network. While the US talks, China connects after establishing its own off-Earth tech territory. With the Tiangong space station, China didn't stop. It set its sights on something even more powerful, controlling the global flow of data. While Washington is still debating frequency standards, ideal latency, and network security for 6G, Beijing has already flipped the switch. China's experimental 6G network now transmits at over 100 gigabits per second, up to 50 times faster than today's 5G. Latency? Almost zero. And most crucially, none of the signals pass through US-controlled infrastructure. No Qualcomm, no Google, not a single packet of data touches a trans-Pacific cable. From satellites, processors, and broadcast towers to the routing algorithms themselves, everything is made in China. They're not playing the old game. They've stepped away from it and started rewriting how the world connects. For China, 6G isn't just about speed. It's a new border, sovereign, unbreakable, and untappable. 8. The unmanned megacity of Shenzhen Bay. In southern China, on the shores of Shenzhen Bay, a new city is rising, but it doesn't look like anything else on Earth. This city is entirely run by self-driving vehicles, patrol robots, AI-powered cameras, and a massive real-time data network. This isn't a demo. This is the real thing. And more importantly, no US tech, no outsourced cheap labor. From traffic control to urban security, from logistics to city management, everything is run by algorithms developed in China. No Google Maps, no Tesla Autopilot, no operating systems from Silicon Valley. This is a live prototype of a world without the US in the value chain. A base unit in China's long-term strategy to build a fully sovereign infrastructure. But for such a system to function, the most crucial component isn't the software. It's power. Stable, efficient, and cheap. And China already solved that equation. LFP batteries. 9. Next-gen LFP batteries, cutting out. Cobalt breaking Western control. For years, the West held a hidden chokehold on the battery industry. Cobalt from Africa, nickel from Southeast Asia, refineries, machinery, and software, mostly controlled by the US and its allies. If China wanted to scale up EV production, it had to go through that. Play by those rules. Be dependent. But Beijing chose another path. The new battery tech China is quietly shipping to the world, LFP, lithium iron phosphate, is a soft but sharp declaration of independence. No cobalt, no nickel, no permissions needed. Using just iron, lithium, domestic processing tech, and a bit of time, China engineered a battery with 210 watt-hours per kilogram energy density, 30% cheaper than traditional chemistries, longer lasting, safer, and most critically, untouchable by Western influence. Today, China controls over 70% of global battery production, but that number isn't the scary part. What's truly unsettling to the West is this. China's supply chain is now closed loop, from mining to manufacturing, from IP to output. No American tech, no foreign approvals, no points of failure. This isn't a reaction. This is a decades-long strategy for strategic separation. And if batteries are the lifeblood of the electrified economy, then China is now pumping its own blood. No more IVs, no more US 10. Hefei Quantum Internet, a domain the US can't touch batteries, help China power itself. But in a world driven by data, energy isn't enough. The next frontier to secure is the nation's nervous system, its communication network. Enter quantum internet. In the city of Hefei, China launched the world's first quantum internet line, a 1,200-mile stretch linking Beijing and Shanghai, powered by quantum photons instead of traditional electronic signals. What does that mean? Data moves at the speed of light, and once it's quantum encrypted, it can't be copied, hacked, or intercepted. Any attempt to tap the line triggers an automatic lockdown and self-destruction in milliseconds. No NSA algorithm works here. No Western surveillance tool can be embedded. This is an internet the US cannot monitor because the US isn't invited. Quantum internet isn't just secure technology. It's a new digital border, a virtual wall, a clear statement. China will no longer operate on American digital infrastructure, and America won't operate on China's. A parallel world is being built, quietly, separately, with no America inside. This isn't just retaliation, it's the blueprint for a new world. China isn't withdrawing from the global system. They're building a second one, a different world, one that doesn't need America, doesn't rely on America, and maybe could even replace America. What do you think about China's strategy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.